Hey everybody, this is Dr. Dain. Welcome to this installment of the Tour of Consciousness from one of my favorite places that I have not been to in a very long time, lovely Stockholm. Now, I got a new camera, so I'm going to see. No. It's supposed to follow me. Did it follow me? Did it? No, it looks at me like a little robot and goes, no. Alright. Anyway, I was so excited about new technology. By the way, sorry about the wind. It's a little windy here if you can hear that. So what is the tool for today? Well, I want to walk you through just some random, maybe not random, but not planned stuff for when you're having one of those days. You know what I'm talking about. You wake up and you just reach over and hit the snooze alarm. You're like, no, let me sleep off today. What's going on? And you know, and the weird part is when you have one of those days, you ever notice how you start attracting to yourself all those things that you don't like? You know, like you get a bill that you weren't supposed to get. You get, you know, your mother-in-law calls and, you know, harasses you. Plus, also in that point, you know, people are asking you for all kinds of stuff. Like, what do we do about this? What do we do about this? You're like, I don't know. I don't have a brain right now. Okay? So what do you do on those days? I don't know. In fact, send me an email and tell me what you do. No, I'm kidding. Although it was in my mind. I was, you know, thinking in making this video. Maybe I would just ask for your input. Tell me what you do. Because we all have things that we've done that sort of work. But on one of those days where you have no idea what's going on, where you just feel weird and you don't know why, what do? Well, first thing you want to recognize, if you've been using Access Consciousness tools at all, and if you've been choosing more consciousness, part of what's happening in those days is your reality has changed. Your old reality as you knew it doesn't exist anymore. Whether you know it or not, what you spent your entire life doing from the moment you constructed reality, you wake up and then you plug into that reality to see what's going on. Almost like, you know, plugging into a computer, plugging into your power source, whatever. It's not a power source. It's like the anti-power source. And so what happens is you plug into your old reality, you see what's there, but if you significantly change it, it's not there anymore. Now, there are lots of other tools in the, you know, that you could use that might create change like that. So it doesn't have to be Access Consciousness tools. They just tend to be faster than most. So if you can recognize that, if you can recognize part of what you're doing is you're checking into your past to see what's there, and if it's not there, what happens is your mind's job is to make sure that your body stays alive. That's basically it. Your mind's job is to make sure that you don't do too much, you don't get too weird, you don't get too strange, you don't get too undefined, because if you do, bad things could happen. Well, what I've learned is your mind is a dangerous thing. Waste it. So you want to recognize that most of what you're trying to do is to tap into an old reality that doesn't exist. Now, if you've taken any Access Consciousness classes, this can occur really dynamically, because what used to be sort of the bedrock of your reality, the thoughts, the feelings, the definitions, all that sort of stuff that made things seem a certain way, they're not necessarily there anymore. What do you do now? Well, a couple things, okay? So when it feels really weird when you wake up in the morning, first thing you want to do is go to an old tool. Who does this belong to? Or as I like to say, who the fuck does this belong to sometimes? And we have a tool for that. We've got an entire playlist devoted to who does this belong to. So if you don't know that tool, please go there. It's based on the idea that 98% of your thoughts, feelings, and your emotions are things that belong to other people, but you're really highly aware. That's first. Second is, what future am I creating and actualizing that I haven't acknowledged? Whoa. Or if you want to take that a step further, what beyond this reality future am I creating and actualizing that I haven't acknowledged? Or for some of you, you might go, what beyond my old reality future am I creating and actualizing that I haven't acknowledged? And then you go right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Which, of course, is a clearing statement. If you don't know that, there's a video for that too. It's in that whole starter pack on YouTube, by the way. So when you do this, what happens is you start to recognize, because what I found is that sort of discomfort that I'm describing, if you know what I'm talking about, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, good for you. That's awesome. This video may not apply. But if you know what I'm talking about, that discomfort occurs when So let's say you used to live as this and you defined yourself as this and decided you were this and you're like, I'm this in the world. And then you go, wait a minute, that's cool, but I'd like to be more too. And so you start undoing parts of this that keep you stuck. So you start to step into being this, but this is undefined. Your mind doesn't know what it is. So what your mind does is your mind goes, no, come back. I could protect you over here. I don't know that I can protect you over here. And it creates all this weird shit in your head that is not yours, that has nothing to do with you, that has nothing to do with your reality. And if you've never taken an Access Consciousness class, this conversation may sound a bit bizarre, but if you have, you know what I'm talking about. And so the reason I say that is because we're so reliant on our mind. We're so reliant on sort of the artificial intelligence system that our mind is. And it really functions like an artificial intelligence system, where what it does is it takes the entire past and calculates it and calibrates it, keeps you tied to the things that hurt, unfortunately, because it wants to make sure you don't get hurt again. And then at the same time, anything that might go beyond what it has defined, it says no. So when you wake up and you feel really bizarre and really strange and really funky, maybe because you've woken up and your mind has gone, no, don't go there, it'll hurt. And what does it do to show you that it'll hurt? It'll go, see how weird it feels? See how strange it feels? See how everything is wrong? When you're going to the wrongness of you, my sense is more than anything else, this is one of the things that's going on. And so you want to ask that question, what future, or what beyond this reality future, or what beyond my old reality future am I creating and actualizing that I haven't acknowledged? Everything that doesn't allow you to perceive, know, be, and receive it, right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds, run that a few times, 5, 10, 15, 20 times, and what'll happen is after a while you'll go, oh. And then the question you want to ask is this the future that I've been asking for? Showing up in a totally different way than I thought it would. Oh, okay, so you run that first process to get over the yuck that makes you see it only as yuck. And then you ask that question, is this the future that I am choosing and actualizing that's showing up in a totally different way than I thought it would? And so for me, I found that the weirdest days on this particular journey at this point are when I'm creating a different future that has not shown up yet. And I've been doing this for 19 years, okay? And hopefully we'll be doing it for many, 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 many more years. Yes, I started when I was 10. Thank you for noticing. Appreciate that. Okay, I'm kidding. I started when I was 11. Anyway, and I had one of those days today. I was like, and what's funny is I was using every tool I could think of. And then I thought, you know what? I'm going to go make a video for my friends who might be in a similar position sometimes, in the hopes that it might help you. And now the lightness is starting to occur. So a couple other tools with this, okay? First is, whatever is the 1 or 2 things that you're avoiding, go do them. Go do them now. If you're having one of these days, go do them now, even though it's the last thing you want to do. Why? Because if you do those will actually show you your energy. They'll show you the space of you. They'll show you what's actually possible. And I know you don't want to do it. I totally understand it. I'm the same way. If I get to a space like that, I'm going to watch this video. When I get to that, I may never get there again. Please. I will watch this video next time I get there too, because that's the same thing I did today. It was like I was avoiding the things that if I did them would change this. And this is the other thing we need to recognize, and you might ask yourself is, what am I avoiding that if I didn't avoid it would change this? Okay, that can be really helpful. And then the other thing you want to look at is, what creative capacity am I avoiding with the problem I am creating? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Once again, what creative capacity are you avoiding with the problem you're creating? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. I'll tell you, for me personally, in the last few days, it's like I exploded. And I had been exploding pretty much for the last 12 months, over and over and over. So when you get to a new place, here's the thing is, the creative capacity you have doesn't stop. It's never less. It's always more. It's always greater if you'll allow it to be. So what creative capacity am I avoiding with the problem I am inventing or creating? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And then the last thing you want to look at, and maybe the biggest, but who knows, it's different for all of us, is one of the other things that we do is when we expand and explode in our exploration, a lot of times what happens is there are lots of people that we feel like we might be leaving behind in some way. Now, I understand that one also. I have a lot of people in my life that I care for very deeply, and they also, they don't necessarily, they're not on none of us is on the same journey anybody else is, even though we're on similar journeys, maybe a lot of us. And what I realized was I was holding myself back, so I didn't go so far that these people would not be able to sort of have the change they've been asking for, because they've been a contribution to change for a lot of people in my life. So the other question you want to ask yourself is, am I holding myself back for someone? And if I am, who? And and what invention am I using to create the problem I am choosing so I do not lose my connection with this person? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. One more time for that one. What invention am I using to create the problem I am choosing so I do not lose my connection with this person? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And now that I ended my connection, they're flying away. I don't know if you can hear them, but they're like, bye-bye, Dain, we're going on a trip. I'm like, have a good time. Anyway, sorry, wish I could show you the plane, but I think you probably heard. I hope the audio in this thing is okay, by the way. It's a brand new system we're trying out, so hopefully it works. But I really hope this helps you in those times where you don't know what the heck else to do. We have a bunch of other tools in Access Consciousness, and if you haven't heard about Who Does This Belong To, like I said, there's a playlist here on YouTube for it, and also we have a free app, Access Consciousness. Guess, wait for it. It's called Who Does This Belong To? Okay. It's a free app. It's our contribution to you in getting freer, getting clearer, and creating some more possibilities in your life. So, thank you very much for listening. I hope this has been helpful. I hope it's a bit of a different perspective that might assist you if you happen to have one of those days like I had today. Don't tell anybody, because I'm supposed to be perfect. Yeah. Just kidding. Never claim to be perfect. I'm just doing my darndest. So, I hope you're having a phenomenal day. Thank you for being part of the tour of consciousness. And what if you truly being you are the gift, the change, and the possibility this world requires. See you soon in person, my beautiful friends. Bye-bye. Ooh.